any hiring that did not hire a minority was met with racism. Oh, it's racism. And at the center of it was a no-necked 5'4" bowling ball named Eric Bieniemy. At the time, the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs. He was Patrick Mahomes' guy, and he was the poster child. He kept interviewing for jobs and never got them. Made people crazy. Actually, made one of our all-time favorites, Jemele Hill, mad that, well, the Lions hired Dan Campbell. This is who we're losing out to. There's no worse. She's never coached nothing in her life other than, I'm not even going to get into it. The DEI rage still rages on, but it really lost juice yesterday. It did. The woke sports mob kind of sort of lost juice. Jemele Hill, Damian Woody, they're staying kind of silent after Eric Bieniemy, who, well, is the poster child for all of this, got his ass fired yesterday. That's right. He was the scapegoat for claims of racism. The poster child got fired, by a black head coach after 1 year at UCLA by a black head coach. And wait for it, hold on, a black athletic director. What? Wait a second. Maybe guys like me who had been through these processes understood a very simple narrative. Maybe, just maybe, he didn't interview well. Maybe, just maybe, the assault on a woman way back when creeped in on others. Maybe, just maybe, he was a fraud. Not saying he is. I'm just saying what I was saying at the time. Yeah, the easiest thing to do is say race. But when you lead an NFL team, you're leading a billion-dollar organization. You're not the owner, I get it, but you certainly are the front door as the coach. When you think of the Kansas City Chiefs, yeah, once in a while you think of that hot girl, the daughter of the Chiefs owner, Gracie Hunt. But you really think about Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. And why would I want Eric Bieniemy, the guy at the front door? Why would I want that? Well, the fact of the matter is I wouldn't. I being the NFL. Well, of course, when that happened, oh, my God, it's racist. Oh, my God. Here is Mina Kimes. It's got some music in the background, so we're going to do it as a screenshot. Let's show Mina Kimes on Bieniemy. Mina Kimes, who has lied about OutKick. Mina Kimes, who has constantly lied about everything relative to race and attacks on her family. She wants to be one of the cool kids. See, the cool kids now say, well, I get attacked. Shoot, I get attacked every day, and I'll just put up my gloves and let's have at it. Mina Kimes trending. When Mina Kimes, ESPN and Mina Kimes strongly inferred Eric Bieniemy was not hired as an NFL head coach due to his race. When it comes to the NFL's diversity problem, Eric Bieniemy is just a tip of the iceberg. As my guys over at ML Football said today, Eric was fired as a college OC. Oh, well, really? Okay. Well, would this – I don't think so. Would this be complete without a Jemele Hill signing? I smell her. I smell her in the air. I do. I smell that stank. This is who black coaches are losing opportunities to. The written quote doesn't capture the levels here. Both kneecaps. Yeah. I mean, all he is like 12-1. See, how racist is this from Jemele Hill? You know, Jemele Hill and others do to others what they actually are doing to themselves. They're doing what the Democratic Party has been doing all election cycle, projecting their behavior onto others. By showing a big white dude, Mina Kimes is saying, see, look at this guy. Or, I'm sorry, Jemele Hill is saying, see, look at this guy. Big white meathead guy. This is who we're losing jobs to. Now, you could post a picture of Eric No-Neck Bieniemy, maybe assaulting a woman and say, well, yeah. I mean, by all accounts, not only has Dan Campbell been a terrific coach, but he's ignited a city. He's clicked it. Clicked it? No. He's clicked with Motown. He's got Motown jumping. And the fascinating thing about what Dan Campbell and the Lions have been able to do, other than win, man, do they travel. We were talking about it with Lomas Brown yesterday. I mean, in Indianapolis, they took over the stadium. We saw it as soon as we walked in. We're like, whoa. You couldn't kind of tell because both teams were blue, so you had to look. And the more you looked, the more you realized, whoa, hold the phone. wait a second. This is Lions country on the road in Indy. And the first down that the Lions got, the place erupted. And I'm like, wow. So Dan Campbell has literally energized the economy of a downtrodden city. I am a big fan of Detroit. Now, would I want to grow up there right downtown? No. But I like going there. I like the sports teams. I like the stadiums. I like the people that run the sports teams. I think they're all good people. But Mina Kimes, being the racist that she is, and Jemele Hill being the uber racist that she is, they've been silent on this. So now people want Eric Bieniemy to take the Colorado head coaching gig. Seems like the move would be letting the NFL off the hook. Well, what hook exactly? What hook is that, yo, big Oprah? The reason I call him Oprah is because he does the same thing on ESPN that Oprah did on her show. Lose weight, gain weight. Everybody cheers and goes, yay, Damien. Yay, you lost weight. And 10 minutes later, 16 sausage pizzas later, he's back to his normal fat ass and nobody says a word. What hook, Damien? No, what happened was NFL franchise, actually, wait for it, hold the phone, hired by merit. They hired by who did they want standing there at the front porch of their team, and they decided that Eric No-Neck Bieniemy, he of a sexual assault case on a woman way back. They didn't want him to do it. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, of course it has to be race. It must be race. It has to be race. Bieniemy, elite NFL OC, highly sought after NFL head coaching candidate, we're looking at, not landing anything after multiple head coaching interviews. Lateral move, offensive coordinator with the Commanders, not retained by the new Commanders head coach, Dan Quinn, and nobody said a word about it. Demoted, I suppose, although I got to tell you, being the offense coordinator at UCLA would be kind of fun. To college football as an OC at UCLA, fired after overseeing one of the worst offenses in college football this year. Clay Travis chimed in. Remember when the entire NFL media tried to tell you Eric Bieniemy not getting an NFL head coaching job was because of racism? UCLA just fired him after stinking as a college coach. Yeah, they did. I'm not gloating here. We're just pointing out something incredibly obvious, something unbelievably obvious. This right here, that's the problem with DEI. Promotions should be based solely on merit and nothing else. Bingo. Well, Nick Wright, who is a race baiter unto himself, Nick Wright, I don't know. He's like that guy that's a writer for the Post. I forget his name. Sean King. The worst people, Nick Wright writes, on the internet are singling out and attacking Mina Kimes. Quote, I wonder why. I'll tell you why, because she's a DEI hire that shouldn't have the job that she has, that she's a liar, certainly lied about OutKick. There's your answer. There's no I wonder why. There's no passive aggressive. My fat ass dressed in black here will tell you. She is a liar. She is one of the people that normal human beings simply can't stand because she lies. Doesn't know squat, DEI hire, and lies, at least about OutKick. As the one person who called out the league for Bieniemy not getting a head coaching job years ago. Let me address something. Hang on. Nick Wright saying the worst people on the internet are singling out and attacking Mina Kimes. See, I would argue the worst people on the internet are pedophiles targeting children. I would argue the worst people on the internet are people trying to scam old people out of their money. Murderers luring people into places they don't want to go. But Nick Wright feels because, Nick Wright's a DEI guy. He's all about that DEI, yo. I've never seen Nick Wright on my TV. I've only seen a picture. I'm sure he's great at what he does and got the job because of his vast sports experience, just like Mina Kimes. But the worst people on the internet are not people calling out fake race baiters. In fact, I would argue, and the old saying by the cool kids like Nick Wright and Mina Kimes, I would say sometimes heroes don't wear capes. See what I did there? I spoke their language. And in this case, people calling out fake race baiters, like apparently, and you'll see why, Nick Wright and Mina Kimes are actual heroes. They're heroes in the world that we live in. So here's my clip from the same time. And for what it's worth, I stand by all of this. And the only addition I would make is the one white OC I listed who didn't get a head coaching job, Brian Callahan, has since gotten one. Well, what a hero. DEI hire, defending DEI hire. Atta baby. All you do when media guy defends media gal is prove the haters right. People weren't really having this with Nick Wright. Bro got fired at UCLA, but you're pretending he's capable of being a head coach in the NFL. Wouldn't it be easier, the ultimate lineup said, to just admit you were wrong? Sebastian A.L. to Nick Wright, you're wrong then, no need to double down. Ben Fuller, Nick always with the race baiting, just like when he called Caitlin Clark fans racist. I mean, I'm sure Nick Wright goes to his vast coaching and playing and experience in sports, but he's getting a little bit killed here. Crazy how you can't see you're the racist person in this. Boy, is that true. Boy, is that true. Charma says he can see he's the most racist. Oh, man. No, I'm not reading that one. That one's nasty. But anyway, you get the point. Us Chiefs fans told you he wasn't a head coach the entire time, but no one listened. So good for Nick Wright defending Mina Kimes. I still argue the worst people on the internet aren't going after the fake race baiters. Those folks are heroes. The worst people are going after children. Hey, this is interesting to me. So let's see. This is a dilemma for Bubba Cunningham. I like Bubba Cunningham. You don't know who Bubba Cunningham is, do you? Bubba Cunningham is the athletic director at North Carolina. Bubba Cunningham fired Mack Brown, an old guy who really maybe the most overrated coach ever. Although he did win a national championship, so I digress. But Mack Brown being fired, he was old, he was kind of fat, I don't know. Time had passed. Anyway, Mack Brown out, 72-year-old Bill Belichick in. Bill Belichick, who's already recruited a college girl as his girlfriend. That's clever of me. Anyway, Belichick is trying to be the head coach of North Carolina. He apparently interviewed for the vacancy, and he's among a group of candidates the Heels have spoken to since the firing of Mack Brown. Look, I'm all in. Why not? North Carolina, 72 years old. I'll say this, other than having a great set of breasts, Bill Belichick seems like he's a younger 72. How do you turn down Bill Belichick? And is it sad to see Bill Belichick schlepping around interviews? Is it sad to see the 6-time champion of the Super Bowl, the biggest championship in the United States of America? Is it sad to see him schlepping? I don't know. That's how I felt as soon as I saw this. Oh, man, don't be schlepping. If you're going to be interviewing with North Carolina, keep it quiet. Or does this show that Belichick doesn't really have an ego? Doesn't really have an ego. I want to be head basketball coach at this new university down right on the water in Florida. I think it's University of the South. I do. I really do. I'd love to do this show and be the basketball coach there because it's a conservative school, and I think it'd be fun. But I don't want my business out there that I'm interviewing. I'm too high profile. No, I'm really not. But I want to do this job and that job. I think that'd be a blast, Doug Gottlieb style. But Belichick, man, he got no shame. He wants it out there. See, you can do these things without letting it be out there. Hey, Bubba Cunningham, Bill Belichick here. I want to talk to you. How about we meet up? You get a hotel room somewhere in Durham. I'll meet you there, and we'll conference room, and we'll just have an interview off the record. I don't know, but apparently Belichick is one of those people that likes having his name out there. It's really odd to me. No, it really is. But hey, good for Belichick, man. He wants it out there. Go get it out there. And by the way, what's that girl really thinking? I saw a picture of those two yesterday. I'm like, you really want that thing bouncing up and down on you? Yeah, I don't know. A friend of the program, Urban Meyer, is responding to the rumors and the speculation about him replacing Ryan Day at Ohio State. Now, truthfully, it's kind of a natural progression of things. You know what I mean? It's just kind of the way it's kind of obvious that that's the direction Ohio State fans would go. That's very, very obvious. That's the direction that the fans and the media would go. Hey, man, this guy's won 90% of his games, but he cannot beat Michigan. Let's get Urban back. Now, I told you this before, the two guys that I think screwed Urban, Gene Smith, the, quote, legendary general manager who went on vacation at the toughest of times, and the president, Drake, who left Urban sitting in the room with his wife for 9 hours during a bullshit investigation, are both gone. Does that mean that Urban wants to come back? I literally have no idea. If he does, God bless him. I hope he does. If he doesn't, God bless him. I hope he doesn't. But Urban did address the speculation. Here he is.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable to hear the fired word, and it's uncomfortable to hear about pressure, but it's also reality that you're compensated very, very well. You get all the resources. I talked to someone, I said, man, it's a rugged job, but it's also arguably the best job.
Yeah.
And there's no one saying it. There's plenty, and I would start, and you guys laugh at this. Here's my first team meeting every year and my first staff meeting. Everybody understands their job description I said this at Florida and also Ohio State. You're expected to be the very best at what you do in the country. If you're a coach, a running back coach, you better be the very best. If not, you're going to have to answer to me and say why. Because of whatever resource you need, I'm going to give you to go study whatever. You need to be the best. As a player, if you're playing tailback, Mark Ingram, you're expected to be the number one tailback in the United States. If that doesn't fit your job description, you can go, I'll help you right now. I'll sign your release papers and you can go. Because there's a lot of places out here, Mark, it's really not that important.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the best. There's 130 schools, or was it 120 schools? You don't have to be the best tailback.
Yeah.
You be good, you're fine. You go eat your dinner and you go home for vacation and all that. At Ohio States of the world, you don't.
Yeah.
And that's why you got to clean, I call it a cleansing. You got to clean your mind and say, this is my job. That means, people say this is drastic. Every waking moment you have, if you're not the best, find a way to become the best.
Yes.
And that's your job description. I get it. If you don't like that, go pay your taxes, be a good person, but leave.
No, that's exactly right. That's exactly how I feel about Indiana basketball. I used to talk to my team about that even at Bowling Green. Look, I recruited you to win a national championship. I didn't recruit you to come in and just be a guy. I didn't recruit you because you're a MAC level player. I recruited you because you would be good enough to play at Indiana and win a national championship, and my goals are no different here. That's exactly right. That's why I have such a problem at Indiana. My thing at Indiana is, are you really being your best? If you are making TikTok videos, are you being a jackass? No, that's exactly right. Exactly right. And nothing wrong with not. Nothing wrong with being, hey, I don't really love this. A lot of coaches don't want to be the best. A lot of coaches want to kind of skate through. A lot of coaches just want to do certain things. But at Ohio State, that's the priority. Now, is Urban going to go back there? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to fire Ryan Day. But look, I will tell you, if Ryan Day loses this game, coming up, whoever they play in the college football playoffs, you're going to hear more of it than not. Now, if Ryan Day goes and wins a national championship, and I'll tell you about that. Ohio State football, Woody Hayes won a lot of national championships. He did. It was kind of sort of before college football was a thing. It was before college football, the money on college football was spent on schools all across the country. It was different then. It was certainly the Big Two. Indiana had no football program. Illinois, come on. I remember when Indiana's players, while Ohio State and Michigan were doing different things, I remember Indiana's players dressing in a basketball field house. I'm going to say that again, a basketball field house. But if you really look at Ohio State, let's go since 1970. Since 1970, Ohio State has won 2 national championships. Now, 42, 54, 57, 61, 68, and 1970. They've won 2. Urban won 1, Tressel won 1. Now, think about that just for a second. Just for a second. They've won 41 conference championships, 10 undefeated seasons in all that time. So people telling me, well, I'd rather beat Michigan. Really? I couldn't give a rat's ass about Michigan if I was Ryan Day right now. Sure, I want to beat him. Sure, I understand I got to beat him. But I'm looking at this. Now, remember, 1970, okay? 29 years after Pearl Harbor. Now, I want you to think about that. 2024, 54 years since 1970, double. And they've won 2. So, don't try to tell me at all that Ohio State beating Michigan is bigger than a national championship. That's just stupid. That's just ignorant. They play Michigan every year. They've won 2 national championships since 1970. Vietnam War was going on in 1970. What are you, nuts? I, at 62, was too young to fight in the Vietnam War. They've won 2. Please. That's 54 years. So shut up with the whole idea that beating Michigan is this big deal, more so than the national championship. My ass. Oh, are you crazy? 2024, this is our daily update on the WNBA. 2024 was a big one for the WNBA. It was. It was huge. We saw it getting more eyeballs, more media attention, of course, than ever before, and it led to expansion, including a new franchise in Toronto. The Toronto Temple. I'm kind of digging it. Fans are flaming the franchise. They're killing it for their poor effort when unveiling the logo and the colors. I got to tell you, that's the worst, cheapest-looking logo I've ever seen. But everybody's different. I like bright colors. I like bold. I like pop out at you. I like bright reds, orange, whatever. That thing looks like the dump I take. That thing looks, I don't know, what is that, purple? Whoever sits around and says, you know what, I got to tell you, purple's the color. Kind of a dull shit-knuckle purple. That's the color. That's the one we want to get in business with. What? Come on, people. The answer to my question, whoever thinks that way, is nobody. Zero, zip, nada. No. What are we doing? Anyway, the Toronto Temple, the reaction. I don't even know what this word is. Golden State gets the Valaris, and we get the Temple. Tempo. I'm not mad at the Temple, the name. I'll be cheering for you, but name and logo are very bland, color, different. Not a home run, though, but I could live with it. It's a no for me, dog. The Tempo, yuck. Y'all put like 2 minutes of effort into this. That's pretty funny because I got to tell, hey, look, hey, Nick. Hey, Dylan, what do you think? Let's make a logo for our show. You know what I think? I think a dull purple. You what? Swat. Yeah, I think a dull purple. What in the hell are you talking about? Yeah, I think so. That needs to change. And it will. I think it will. But when you put out something like that, don't you go through, it's like a $200 million investment. That's what a WNBA franchise costs. And when you put something out like that, don't you run it by like 8 million committee, or just as the owner go, yeah, I like that. I like that. I don't know. That's weird to me. Rachel Nichols, remember her? Maria Taylor got her, man. Maria Taylor went and stole her damn job. And then Maria Taylor hightailed it out of town to NBC. Maria Taylor sharply criticized the NBA for prioritizing sponsors and corporate partners over the quality of the game. Now, what would Rachel Nichols know about it? Anyway, which she believes led to the demise of the All-Star game, calling the midseason weekend classic an afterthought. Well, you can say that's because of sponsors. You can say that's because of interest, but I would say that's because players are paid so damn much they can give a shit. And players don't give a shit. It's all a fraud, this NBA thing, although I must say I do like going to games. The game is literally almost an afterthought. Well, except for the city in which it comes, where STD rates fly, pregnancies explode, and crime is out of hand because all the fellas, the hangers-on, The guys. I got a guy. He's coming to town. He's going to hook us up at a party at the Dakich mansion. Yeah, yo. Game is literally an afterthought. Players get in there on Thursday most of the time. The NBA has set up that weekend as sponsor opportunities to sort of do things with their players. By the time you get to Sunday, guys have jets waiting on the tarmac, waiting for these players to ditch out, go back home. I tried to interview players after the game, and it was almost a lost cause. Of course. Why would anybody want to stick around on their one time where they're off and talk to Rachel Nichols? Seriously. Hi. The giggler. Why? I wouldn't. Hey, man, look, honey, I got 3 days off here. It's the only 3 days I got where I don't have a practice, a shoot around. I'm going home later. But I want to talk to you about what do you think the second half of the season is. Hey, look, baby, sweetie. No, ain't doing it. Adios. Hey, yo, you got that bag of crack? Let's go. We're getting on a plane. It's the NBA. You think I'm wrong? Go listen to those idiots in Up in Smoke. Steven Jackson and that other clown, Matt Barnes. Go listen to those fools and tell me I'm off base with, hey, I got a bag of crack. Let's get on the private plane, fly home, and smoke. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm a little exaggerated, but I'm not wrong. The players feed off it. If nobody's yelling at them, hey, you're a bum, get back on defense, no one's doing it. So they're not feeling the little push from the crowd or that little oh, this is so stupid. My God. I didn't read this before the show. This is as stupid a thing as anybody could say. Big ovation that they're doing. Well, the vibe of the game is church-like in some ways. Until some of the fundamentals are changed, I don't think there's going to get to where they want to go. No, until the players aren't douchebags. And I know little girl can't say that because, well, if she says that, then the players might not like her. But it has nothing to do with the owner. It has nothing to do with the sponsor. It has to do with players or overpaid douchebags that feel no obligation to a crowd. It isn't about, oh, my God, they're cheering. I'm going to run harder. Jesus, where do we get these people to cover sports? Seriously, where do we get them? They don't get that little push from the crowd or the big ovation. These guys have been getting that little push, that ovation since fourth grade. You think it matters? Jesus, these players don't want to play in the game. They've been begged to play hard by the legends of the game. They've been begged to respect the game, and they don't. That's the way modern players are. And ain't nothing going to change it, I guess. I mean, they did play a little bit when you had that Elam ending, but everybody even complained about that. Where do they get the Mina Kimes and the Rachel Nichols to cover sports? But they're women. No. Yeah, you are women, and you deserve an opportunity. But when you fail at that opportunity and you're so stupid that you can't even understand a simple thing like why guys don't play hard in a freaking NBA All-Star game, I got a headache. I don't want my head to explode. I got to go to Illinois State tomorrow and watch the Redbirds. And I want to go. But if my head explodes right here, it'll make for great TV, but I'll be dead. My mom will be sad. My kids will get some money. And I won't get to watch the Redbirds. Pissing me off. Just pissing me off. Texas linebacker, who, by the way, we have talked more about in the last 2 days, 3 days than we have in his entire career. He's showing a serious lack of class or intelligence. I would go intelligence. I mean, he's a thoughtful brother. In the aftermath of committing a reckless, much-debated hit on Jacksonville quarterback Trevor Lawrence. He's embraced the villain status, going on the defensive after the illegal hit. Hey, if you want me to be your villain, he says, I'll be your villain. There is a beauty in being rejected, misunderstood, unseen, and unprotected by people. It teaches you to rely on Allah, for everything. Okay there, champ. Uh-huh. I mean, that's a deep dude right there. That's a deep brother. Good for him. Nah, really good for him. Yeah, man. Al-Shaair is not criticized because, whoa, where'd this come from? Who's this from? Is this from us at OutKick? Al-Shaair is not criticized because he's black and a practicing Muslim. He is criticized because he cheap shots players. That's right, on the field and risks seriously injuring him. It wasn't just his shot at Lawrence. Al-Shaair has a history. Hey, Acho noted something kind of intelligent. Al-Shaair choked Tom Brady on the field in 2022, provided late hits on Caleb Williams and Tony Pollard this season. Well, this is what the NFL said in their release. And punched Rashane Johnson after a play. Al-Shaair is a dirty player. He's made that quite clear. Whether he deserves a 1-game, 3-game, season-long suspension is for you to debate. The most damning development is him using his race and Muslim religion as an obvious get-out-of-jail-free card. See, I believe this. If, in fact, it can be proven, and I think it can, that hit on Trevor Lawrence, which has cost Lawrence the last 5 games of the season, him leaving the game, him being out for the last 5 games, is a direct result of Al-Shaair's hit. I think Al-Shaair should be punished the same way. I think Al-Shaair should be suspended for as long as Lawrence is out. It's kind of simple. Now, maybe that would never hold up in an appeal. And by the way, Al-Shaair did appeal, and Al-Shaair's appeal was turned down. Probably pretty good. Hey, brutal cable news networks, this is unbelievable, like MSNBC and CNN are setting 20-year and 30-year lows in ratings. We don't trust them. I mean, what are you going to do? Joy Reid's over there telling you we're all Nazis and pigs and racists. I mean, who wants to listen to that crap? Making a miserable month for 2 of the 3 big networks since Trump defeated Harris in the general election. During the week of November 25, CNN saw its lowest rated week among total viewers since June 2001, with an average of 268,000 viewers. By comparison, Fox averaged 1.4 million head-to-head. MSNBC managed to only slightly outdraw CNN with an average of 346. But the real concern for MSNBC lies in primetime, where its shows used to reach more than 1 million viewers. Last week, the network averaged 465 viewers in primetime. It was MSNBC's worst week among the demo since November of 1997, when noted cigar enthusiast Bill Clinton was still president. Let's consider the lies that the 2 networks told viewers ahead of the election, from the bloodbath hoax to the very fine people lie. Man, they did. They just kept on. But I'll give them credit. They were not backing down from those lies. They were going to tell those lies till the bitter end, baby. Man, from warning that Trump was akin to Adolf Hitler to stating that concerns about the border were overblown. Heck, the 2 networks spent the last week before the election telling their viewers that Trump said he'd execute neocon, good word, Liz Cheney. People are idiots. At some point, viewers are going to catch on. That is true. That is very, very true. Based on numbers, viewers have caught on. They've caught on that CNN and MSNBC are merely propaganda machines for the Democratic Party. And frankly, that's sad. I think it's sad because when you get up there, I get it. Somebody has a different take than mine. That's fine. I don't mind being beaten over the head with facts when I'm wrong. I don't mind being beaten over the head with facts when the facts I thought supported me, but somebody else makes them support them. That's cool. That's debate. That's discussion. What are you going to do? But to just come out and lie and name call, and here's the thing. I've paid attention to this because I don't get worked up about politics. I followed it my whole life. I've always kind of thought America was in the center. Hell, remember, I go to this all the time. At MAGA, Make America Great Again, was not only used by Ronald Reagan, but it was also used by Bill Clinton, one a Republican, one a Democrat. The border was never an issue. Republicans on one side, Democrats on the other could always understand we need a secure border. Okay, but now things are so goddamn goofy. And now things are so politicized, the far left, the far right, the entire deal, that networks have had to make a choice. See, that's why I like OutKick. We call out stupidity on both sides. You know, hey, we play no favorites. I just went at Nick Wright. He's on Fox. I mean, when you make a dumb, woke comment, we're here because we're geniuses. Hey, by the way, speaking of geniuses, on the next episode of Maintaining with Tyrus, Bully Ray Dudley and Tyrus take a blast to the past, reflecting on their lives and career in professional wrestling, and how all the best things in their lives, come from that sport. I got to tell you something. This is a quick story before we go to this. One day, this is one of those pictures of who doesn't belong in this picture. Roy Williams in North Carolina coach, Bill Self, Kansas coach, Jim Boeheim, the Syracuse coach, and I were playing golf in Bermuda. Nike took us on a trip. And I stopped at a tee box, downhill par 3, and I said, fellas, I got to tell you, man, I'm just a kid from Northwest Indiana. I never believed I'd be playing golf in Bermuda on a basketball trip. Think about all the places basketball has taken you. Now, when you talk to three guys like that, particularly Roy Williams, he's going to give you his life story. I love Roy. But they all started talking about the same thing. Sometimes you got to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. And sometimes you got to think about, man, were it not for a sport, basketball in my case, professional wrestling in these guys' case, life would have been much different. I thank God a lot. I don't know about every day, but I thank God a lot he allowed me to fall in love with basketball. Here's a little promo maintaining with Tyrus with Bully Ray Dudley.
All the best things in my life have come from wrestling. Best friends, jobs, and even this. The one thing we do better than anyone else, breaking news. What do you got? No problem.
No problem.
Because we go live, pal.
That's it.
Rest his soul. But yeah, we go.
And it's crazy because how many people from, movies, TV, sports, they come into our world and they freeze. Very few get it real quick. They freeze and you got to do this live? Absolutely.
And there's no
gun to your head and no net.
And if you do it, and if you f up, you're only going to mess up once on live TV.
Done.